Hello. So I'm doing a little experimental stream. Yeah. So today I was listening to the All In podcast, and one of the guys, what's his name? Jason Friedberg. He had just brought up, this thing called the Black Scholes model. And I don't know, it just sounds really cool. Like it has like a really cool name, and it sounds important. It sounds like it would be cool to understand what it does and how it works. So I don't really know anything about it. I think it has stuff to do with trading or investing or something. I thought that one of the famous like investment banks or something, they popularized it or something. Investment firms or banks or something. And let's look at other stuff too. I'll just jot down some other stuff like the what are those physics equations? What are those fancy physics equations? Oh yeah, Maxwell's equations. That'll also be really cool to understand. Like derivatives too. Just like financial modeling in general. So I don't really know anything about those, but it'd be cool to understand them better. Scholes. Let's see. Mathematical model for the dynamics of a financial market containing derivative investment instruments. From the parabolic partial differential equation model, Black-Scholes equation, can deduce the Black-Scholes formula, which gives a theoretical estimate on the price of European style options. Shows the options has a hedge the option. Also, the fast Fourier transform would be cool to understand. It was widely used. Only has one parameter that cannot be directly observed: the average future volatility of the underlying asset. History, fundamental hypothesis. Yeah, this is kind of just kind of like look at this, gloss over it. Need to find like a YouTube video. Was it Black-Scholes model? Oh, Khan Academy has a video. That's pretty cool. Oh, nice. Yeah, there's a Veritasium. That's cool. Let's check it out.
We're now going to talk about probably the most...
Oh, it's like... Is this like part 3 or part 5 of a video where you already wrote all this stuff?
famous formula in all of finance, and that's the Black-Scholes formula, sometimes called the Black-Scholes-Merton formula. And it's named after these gentlemen. This right over here is Fisher Black. This is Myron Scholes. And they really laid the foundation for what led...
Kind of like, I feel like the Veritasium video is, give me some inspiration.
This single equation spawned 4 multi-trillion-dollar industries and transformed everyone's approach to risk.
Do you think that most people are aware of the size, scale, utility of derivatives?
No idea. But at its core, this equation comes from physics, from discovering atoms, understanding how heat is transferred, and how to beat the casino at blackjack. So maybe it shouldn't be surprising that some of the best to beat the stock market were not veteran traders, but physicists, scientists, and mathematicians. In 1988,
I actually watched this video before, but I think I might have been taking a nap and I kind of like woke up like midway through it, and yeah, I definitely wasn't following it closely. Might be confusing that with another video actually.
Mathematics professor named Jim Simons set up the Medallion Investment Fund. And every year for the next 30 years, the Medallion Fund delivered higher returns than the market average. And not just by a little bit. It returned 66% per year. At that rate of growth, $100 invested in 1988 would be worth $8.4 billion today. This made Jim Simons easily the richest mathematician of all time. But being good at math doesn't guarantee success in finance.
Yeah, how much did he invest? Wait, what? He just invested $100?
In dollars today. This made Jim Simons easily the richest mathematician of all time.
Wait, 30 billion versus 8.4 billion. So yeah, it's different.
This made Jim Simons easily the richest mathematician of all time. But being good at math doesn't guarantee success in financial markets. Just ask Isaac Newton. In 1720, Newton was 77 years old, and he was rich. He had made a lot of money working as a professor at Cambridge for decades, and he had a side hustle as the master of the Royal Mint. His net worth was £30,000, the equivalent of $6 million today. Now, to grow his fortune, Newton invested in stocks. One of his big bets was on the South Sea Company. Their business was shipping enslaved Africans across the Atlantic. Business was booming, and the share price grew rapidly. By April of 1720, the value of Newton's shares had doubled, so he sold his stock. But the stock price kept going up, and by June, Newton bought back in, and he kept buying shares even as the price peaked. When the price started to fall, Newton didn't sell. He bought more shares, thinking he was buying the dip. But there was no rebound, and ultimately he lost around a third of his wealth. When asked why he didn't see it coming, Newton responded, "I can calculate the motions of the heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people."
Dang.
So what did Simons get right that Newton got wrong? Well, for one thing, Simons was able to stand on the shoulders of giants. The pioneer of using math to model financial markets was Louis Bachelier, born in 1870. Both of his parents died when he was 18, and he had to take over his father's wine business. He sold the business a few years later and moved to Paris to study physics. But he needed a job to support himself and his family, and he found one at the Bourse, the Paris Stock Exchange. And inside was Newton's madness of people in its rawest form. Hundreds of traders screaming prices, making hand signals, and doing deals. The thing that captured Bachelier's interest were contracts known as options. The earliest known options were bought around 600 BC by the Greek philosopher Thales of Miletus. He believed that the coming summer would yield a bumper crop of olives. To make money off this idea, he could have purchased olive presses, which, if he were right, would be in great demand. but he didn't have enough money to buy the machines. So instead, he went to all the existing olive press owners and paid them a little bit of money to secure the option to rent their presses in the summer for a specified price. When the harvest came, Thales was right. There were so many olives that the price of renting a press skyrocketed. Thales paid the press owners their pre-agreed price, and then he rented out the machines at a higher rate and pocketed the difference.
Wow. That's pretty intuitive. I always forget what options are and like what they mean and stuff, but it's just, I guess, yeah, it's just making an agreement with someone ahead of time to buy the thing for a fixed price, for a set price. I mean, this one's a little bit different because it's just like renting something at a fixed price. The option to rent something at a fixed price, buy something at a fixed price. I mean, that makes sense when the thing is scarce and like you think it's going to go up in value and you just want to like use it. It's less intuitive when you're thinking about stocks.
Thales had executed the first known call option. A call option gives you the right, but not the obligation to buy something at a later date for a set price, known as the strike price. You can also buy a put option, which gives you the right, but not the obligation to sell something at a later date for the strike price.
That's kind of weird with like, it's like, I have the right to sell this to you. It's like, I don't know, it feels less weird. Call option feels less weird because it's like, you go to someone and it's like, we agreed that I could buy this from you. So yeah, I'd like to buy it now. Versus like the put option is like, it's like, you must take this. It's like forcing something on someone. Yeah, the call option is, it's just, I don't know. It's like the difference between, really the only thing that's different here is that, I mean, the other person, okay, so like if I'm the buyer, then I just have like, oh, I'm just free to do whatever I want. Like I could exercise my option, I could not. It's like whatever, it's just cool. In both cases, the other person's kind of like forced to do something. Where in the first one, like I go to them and they have to sell it to me. So I don't know, that doesn't feel too weird. It doesn't feel bad, but like pushing something on someone, yeah, that feels, I don't know, it just feels worse. Just feels weird. Call option. It's like, let's see. It's like this one is like, this one is like bad. It's kind of like, yeah, in both cases, like I'm good because like I have this freedom and flexibility. And in the other case, it's a little bit like, give this to me. You must take this.
Put options are useful if you expect the price to go down. Call options are useful if you expect the price to go up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the call option, I want to lock in the price so I can buy it. Yeah, price is going to go up. Put option, let's like get some intuition with this. It's like, he didn't really give like a real world example of a put option. Let's just let's ask ChatGPT. How do we communicate with this? see. Hello. What's going on here? This is like frozen. Oh, okay. Yeah, had this up and active. All right, let's do this.
Hey, what's up? Feel free to ask me about anything that's...
What's a real world example of a put option?
A put option is like insurance for an asset. Here's a real world example. Imagine you own 100 shares of a company, let's say Tech Corp, currently trading at $50 per share.
For a put option, don't give me an example with like stocks or insurance. So I'm watching this video and he gave a real world example of call options where this guy was planning on like picking a bunch of olives and making olive oil.
I see what you're getting at. A real world scenario, not tied to finance or stocks. Here's a relatable example of a put option in action. Let's say your friend is planning a big event, like an outdoor wedding in 3 months. They're nervous about the possibility of rain ruining the day. To hedge against this, they strike a deal with a local indoor venue. They pay $500 upfront for the option to rent the space if it rains that day. The deal states they can use the venue for $5,000 if needed, but only if it rains. If it rains, they exercise the option and...
All right, this is like a little too like fast to like. Can you explain that more slowly? Can you speak more slowly?
Of course, here's a slower breakdown. Imagine your friend is planning an outdoor wedding in 3 months. They're worried it might rain on the big day. To prepare, they make a deal.
Let's see. Oh, the right to sell something. Well, it's kind of weird because with the call option, it kind of worried that the price would go up. And why would that happen? It's because kind of like people just get excited about something and they have like less supply and they're going to like raise the price versus, and I could see why the olive presser vendors would want to do that because you're kind of like locking in not guaranteed business, I guess. I don't know. You're just hedging against the possibility that no one's going to rent. So you get like some money up front. Versus, yeah, selling your car. Why would the dealership want to agree to this? I guess you do pay them a little bit up front, so they get some money right away. Okay, $300 up front. Interesting. Okay.
For example, let's say the current price...
Why would a seller agree to a call option? Yeah. Yeah, if I'm the seller, if I'm the seller and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna raise my. It's almost like I'm a seller and some guy comes to me and he just seems like an anxious guy. Like he's just worried that he's not going to be able to get. He's worried that like when the time comes for him to buy something, he's like not going to be able to buy it. So he just wants like the guarantee to be like, all right, like if I want to buy it, I'll be able to buy it. So from the perspective of the seller, I'd be like, yeah, like, I'm not going to raise my prices anyway. Um, this is like a guaranteed sale for me and I get some money up front. Like, cool. Um, yeah, like, um, yeah, and I wouldn't set the sell price at the end of the season. Maybe I would set it like in the first few weeks to be like if he didn't want to buy it, then there's still plenty of time left over, like if other people want to buy it. So I basically have like a guaranteed sale no matter what. And so yeah, that's why I could see doing that versus like if the prices like really go up and he gets this like amazing price, I'm like, fuck, like I told him he could buy it at this price. I could make so much more money, but okay. But I kind of think like, all right, I'm only gonna guarantee he can buy this thing at like the price that I know is at least kind of like the minimum I need to sort of break even. If I want to start getting like greedy or something, I would maybe offer. Yeah, if I want to get greedy, I could like offer it to him at like a lower price, but like I don't think he's gonna exercise the option. Where like maybe I would be screwed if he did exercise the option. That's kind of like it's like a more dangerous, like sketchy way to do it. And the sell thing, I don't really want to think about the sell thing right now. Could come up with another scenario where I put myself in the buyer's shoes to where it would make sense, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do that right now.
Apple stock is $100.
I'm gonna write, by the way, just like different stuff I could stream in terms of like different topics. Like one could be, yeah, I took notes on this a while ago of different areas I'd be interested in learning, and like finance was one of them. It's like machine learning. I don't know if systems is good. I feel like math stuff is better. Systems is more like, I don't know, kind of like programming and stuff. Take a note to stream the put option, putting myself in the shoes of the buyer.
You expect it to go up. You could buy a call option for $10 that gives you the right, but not the obligation, to buy Apple stock in 1 year for $100. That is the strike price. Just a little side note, American options can be exercised.
Wait, what's the $10? Okay, the $10 is the little upfront cost. This is a crazy feature of YouTube videos where they let you highlight, they parse out the text.
On any date up, the obligation up. You could buy a call option for $10 that gives you the right, but not the obligation to buy Apple stock in 1 year for $100. That is the strike price. Just a little side note, American options can be exercised on any date up to the expiry, whereas European options must be exercised on the expiry date.
European versus what?
Expiry. Just a little side note, American options can be exercised on any date up to the expiry, whereas European options must be exercised on the expiry date.
Is that actually like that's how it's done in America versus Europe, or are those just the names for them? What if it's like are American? Are American call options exclusively done in America, and are European call options exclusively done in Europe, or are those just like the names for those things?
The names American and European options don't refer to where they're traded. They're just naming conventions that describe the exercise rules of the options. Here's what they mean. American options can be exercised at any time.
Why did they have those names?
I know, right? The names can make it sound way more complicated than it is. It's like they're trying to confuse us on purpose, but really it's
No, I don't think the names are confusing. I'm just curious about their origin in terms of American and European.
good question. The names American and European likely come from the historical development of the options market, but they don't have a direct link to those places. Here's a bit of background. The American option style probably got its name because it was first widely used in the US markets, where more flexible terms for options were popular. Traders liked the freedom to exercise their options whenever they wanted before expiration. And the European option style might come from a preference for simpler rules in early European derivatives markets. They only allowed exercise at expiration, making things easier to price mathematically. So the terms reflect market traditions and rules, but not a strict geographical connection. Today, both.
That's so funny. It's like America, we like freedom, so that's why we're called these are American call options.
To keep things simple, we'll stick to European options. So if in a year the price of Apple stock has gone up to $130, you can use the option to buy
it and then sell it
shares for $100 and then immediately sell them for $130. After you take into account the $10 you paid for the option, you've made a $20 profit.
Yeah, so if you do this to buy and sell, buy and then sell the asset like right away, then you need it to go up by more than the price that you bought it for.
Alternatively, if in a year the stock price has dropped to $70, you just wouldn't use the option and you lost the $10 you paid for it. So you just wouldn't.
So yeah, you versus if you actually bought it right now, you would lose $30, but because you didn't actually buy it, you just paid this amount. So if you, yeah, just kind of like a gamble. Basically, the thing has to go up by $10 for you to break even. If it goes down at all, yeah, I need to rewatch this video on like the negative side to I feel like I can only do one of the two kind of like sides to kind of understand it, scenarios. Also, the stock loses money. How much does it have to go down by for the put option to not cost you money?
Is the option, and you've lost the $10 you paid for it. So the profit and loss diagram looks like this. If the stock price ends up below the strike price, you...
It's another thing to stream about, maybe like streaming about biology. Curious kind of about, yeah, how biology works. Like human biology and I don't know, digestion and metabolism, maybe. The cell.
Use what you paid for the option.
Just different areas to stream because I feel like I can only do like once a day. I can only do kind of like one section on like one topic. I can't do like multiple things on the same topic. But maybe I can do multiple things on different topics.
But if the stock price is higher than the strike price, then you earn that difference minus the cost of the option.
Yeah, I want to understand this. And I feel like I'm kind of fried. So I think I'll probably stop right here. So thanks, guys, for watching. This was cool. This is a cool experiment. Started off on that Wikipedia page, and that didn't feel good because I don't know. I don't have as much of a connection to this finance stuff. Like all the programming and math stuff, like I studied programming and math in school for I guess 6 years for like undergrad and grad school. And so that, yeah, it's just like 6 years of like taking classes and like being around classmates and talking about stuff and like being interested in stuff. So I feel like I have a bigger like backlog of that stuff. Like my favorite class in undergrad computer science was theory of computation. So I want to stream at some point on so there was this book that we used that was awesome. Theory. It's basically this book right here. Introduction. It looked different. It's there, the 3rd edition. It might have been like the 2nd edition or something. This looks more familiar. Which edition? I feel like it was. I think it was this one. 1996. Is it this one? May have been this one. I saw there's a theory of computation class taught by him with like lectures and everything. Oh man, yeah, this stuff brings me back. Regular and context-free languages, that was fun. We didn't decidable. Yeah, I guess we did get to decidable problems. That's where Turing machines come in. I think like the halting problem is undecidable. We didn't get into reducibility, not recursive function theory. We didn't really get into like, what? This is like algorithm analysis stuff? Huh. Completedness. Just another thing to stream on this MIT OCW algorithms. I don't know if I'm going to do any of this stuff, but I'm just getting ideas to do it. Never heard of this. Never heard of this. Dang. That's cool. Let's see what the video lectures are like. 25. The pump and lemma. I remember this thing was, I don't know if I really understood the pumping lemma when we did it. PDAs, CFGs being like equivalent to PDAs, context-free grammar, like regular expressions. Could be cool. I wonder if he's a good lecturer.
The big question, as I mentioned, is whether these two classes are the same. So does being able to verify membership quickly, say with one of these certificates,
yeah, the vibe is good. It's my gut reaction.
allow you to dispense with the certificate, not even need a certificate, and just test it for yourself, whether you're in the language, and do that, in polynomial time. That's the question for V1.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is a great book. The Art of Computer Programming. Those books look cool. Yeah. So got some ideas for some more streams, some more subject material. I guess I'll kind of be leaving stuff off at different points. All right. See you guys.